Okay, so getting back to our crop plan, you kind of, with these 3 sheets that you have for your early, mid, and late, that's your crop plan. You know, I don't know, what questions do people have on that? Does it seem easy to understand? Does it seem too complicated? Am I not clear? You know, what, please.
Is there any rules about how many seasons you have to skip before you go back to planting something again?
You know, I would say the least you could do is just don't directly follow, like immediately follow. I think if you do that, that's a great start. If you have a lot of room to work with, then you can space that out as long as you want. You know, you could say not plant tomatoes in the same spot for a year. You know, it really all depends on the amount of space you have, you know, because people don't necessarily want to give up good garden real estate for a long period of time as well. And I get that, you know, and you can kind of, you know, you can amend your soil and add compost or, you know, foliar feed with compost tea. There are things you can do, but if you have the space to work with, as long as you don't immediately follow, that's a great start. So. Please. Yeah.
One idea that the Deep Roots team has is that at some point, for people who only have very small gardens, there's maybe a 4x8 bed or a 3x6 bed, and that's it. They could partner up with other people who have a similar situation, so you swap that. So if somebody's planting tomatoes in their yard, and 1 year, then the next year, their partner plants tomatoes, so that they do crop rotation among different yards and different families.
And that's a great idea, you know, I mean, and you can really kind of manage your garden by families if you have more gardens to do it with. Please.
So I have a question. I am that person. I have a very small spot for vegetables.
Yeah.
And I put in a rose trellis to grow my climbing tomatoes on. So the tomatoes are not moving, and I grow them every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't have much option to move them anywhere else. What can I put in the soil that will make them grow year after year after year? I know you're saying rotate them, but that's not.
If you can't, right, I mean, and I'm certainly not advocating that people don't grow in your garden just because you can't rotate, you know, but, you know, making sure that you add some type of compost or some type of amendment that is not high in nitrogen is what tomatoes want. If you were to add something that is real high nitrogen, you'll have these great big green beautiful plants with no fruit. So that's just kind of the key for tomatoes. And you'll want to take extra special care to mulch around the tomato plant because most of the fungal diseases that tomatoes get come from rain or water splashing the dirt and that dirt getting on your leaves. And so if you're planting tomatoes in the same spot, there's a good chance you have the fungus in your soil, but if you put a layer of mulch there,
Like 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches?
2 inches, you know, the more the merrier, but I mean, 2 inches is a great start.
So fungus derives from the soil?
For definitely, it's kind of always living there. And so if, you know, you have certain tomato plant, or certain types of plants that if they get water on their leaves, you know, they always say you shouldn't let tomato leaves get wet, which is impossible. What you don't want to do is let the dirt splash on your tomato plant, because it's the dirt that has the disease that can make the tomato plant sick.
Okay, I've dealt with powdery mildew.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So it's the waters mixing with the dirt splashing on the plant.
It's not the water and it's not the plant, it's the combination of everything with the dirt. So if even, you know, one of the folks over here has said, you know, newspaper for a mulch, any kind of layer that will block the dirt from splashing up on the plant, you have a much better chance of having a good plant.
What's a good thing since when I get it to get rid of the powdery mildew? I use dry styles.
Yeah, I don't, you know, some people say milk, you know, spray the plant with milk. You know, I know other people though, who when they see powdery mildew, they rip the plant out.
Yeah.
You know, and I personally would be more likely to do that, you know, just to get the plant out and get a new plant and get it in there.
Milk helps spread.
It does, if you spray the leaves of the plant, they say it kind of keeps the mold down until the plant can.
If it even grows up the stem.
But if you mulch before that even happens, you shouldn't have an issue.
Right.
So get the mulch down as soon as you put your plant in.
And if you tear it out, don't put it in your compost.
Right.
Yeah, put it in a brown bag and get it, let them take it away. The milk has to be very dilute.
Okay.
It has
Good
to
to
be
know.
like 1 milk to 9 waters.
Okay.
And you have to do it a lot, so it gets to be tedious.
So like is what?
You have to do it a lot, you have to spray it a lot, and it has to be very dilute.
I was just curious, so I was ignorant, and two, the first growing season, I just used compost.
Okay.
That's all I used, and my tomatoes went absolutely nuts, they were like jungle tomatoes.
Yeah.
They were just, they went nuts, and so I didn't do anything the next year, and they just kind of spontaneously grew again.
Yep.
Just in the compost, so taking a step back with planting the soil needs, what do you have to start with for the soil before you even start your crop? In other words, what should the soil be? It can't be all compost, obviously.
Well, I mean, compost is great, and compost breaks down over the course of the season, so, it's hard to say. At least adding compost one time per season, your soil should be in good shape. And if plants are growing well in the soil that you have, then that's a good indicator that your soil's healthy.
But I don't add mulch to it or leaf.
You don't
mulch or-
necessarily have to. I mean, that's just kind of for people who know that they haven't added anything in some time, and they're like, and they can say, here's my once a year, or here's my twice a year where I'm gonna get some more organic matter in there. But if you're growing well, then, honestly, that's something to be happy about and continue doing what you're doing, but pay attention to if you added anything over the growing season and know that you probably should at least once. So, please.
So I don't know much about gardening, but last year back to the powdery mildew, I took the leaves off of the first, sort of the first flip. Is that bad gardening practice?
Okay, so it's not bad. But what is bad is if you have an open wound on a plant and it rains and splashes dirt in there, now you've got a sick plant. So if you had to remove any type of leaves or anything like that, check your weather, make sure to know, and don't water after it, let that wound heal, and you should be fine. One of the things about growing tomatoes, and what I used to do in a greenhouse, my biggest year I had 1,800 tomato plants that I was managing, and I grew a bunch in a greenhouse, but I would cut them to a single stem, and they'd grow around a twine, but I had to go in there and bust leaves off every day. Otherwise, they'd have 20 stems and they'd be everywhere. So it doesn't hurt for you to bust the leaves off, just don't let any water get in there. So. Okay. Let's see. This to me is an important point, just the second line. A lot of people who I've worked with before, have really learned to hate their garden. And I think, the enjoyment is really kind of, I was lucky that I was able to farm for work, but I actually really enjoyed it. I still enjoy gardening at kind of a ridiculous scale. But I think people, if you can add a little bit of clarity to your garden so that you actually enjoy what you're doing, I think that's helpful. And I think that's got to stay in the forefront of people's minds.
I have to laugh about that because in March I lost my job.
Okay.
So I belong to this women's group and I'm showing some pictures of my garden. The next thing you know, someone there is, we need you to work on our gardens at the church.
Yeah.
Cool. So 4 months later, 100 degree heat, and I'm on the little wagon doing a whole lot. I lost 15 pounds, my blood pressure normalized. And then I'm like, take it easy. I'm like, because I loved it so much,
Sure.
it was stress. And my doctor was telling me, it was amazing what it did to me.
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah, that's great, you know, I mean, you know, I feel bad when I see people who hate their gardens, so I think, you know, I want people to think this is as fun as I think it is.